guys, welcome back. Alright, today we're going to talk about a Marvel character who could probably tough enough to take any of the rest of them out. Maybe he wouldn't be able to, but he'd definitely give it his all, and that is the Punisher. The Punisher has been around in comic books for a while. He was first introduced actually as a antagonist type character in the Spider-Man comic books, the Amazing Spider-Man. And then he just got a huge following and kind of developed into a anti-hero until he had his own comic series himself. He was the first of his kind, uber violent, heavy gun, lots of guns and weaponry, and so he was kind of the first of his characterization back then in the comic books. Kind of introduced us to the whole new idea of a violent superhero. And so yeah, he kind of got a good fan base, a good following. A lot of the military folks, they like him, and understandably so. He's one tough SOB, right? He has a pretty tragic backstory in being that, it's been done several different times. Comic books, movies, all the above, TV. But his story is one that's pretty sad, and it's the fact that Frank Castle, this man of action who has these skills, just trying to come home and live a life with his family, is uprooted and met with tragedy when his wife and child is murdered. It's been done before. It's been, it's a standard revenge, vengeance type situation, but man, oh man, when Frank gets, going, when he gets in the zone, he's like a bulldozer. He's going to run over everything in his path and leave all kinds of damage. So, movie-wise, he's only been done twice, the character has. And the first one was 2004 movie with Thomas Jane. And then the second one was in 2008, I believe it was, with, what's his name? Can't think of his name off the top of my head, but it was Punisher Warzone, which, was that rough or what? Man, oh man. But anyway, and then we had the definitive best version we've gotten thus far with the Netflix TV series titled The Punisher, and it was John Bernthal, I think I'm saying his name right. Anyway, killed it, man. He slayed it as Frank Castle in The Punisher. But all that's great, and we'll talk about those later on down the line. But today we're going to focus on the 2004 very first cinematic edition to The Punisher. Not related to the MCU or any other kind of franchise in any way. It was back when superhero movies stood on their own by themselves. And like I said, it starred Tom Jane, or Thomas Jane, whatever you prefer. And he did a good job, I thought. He pulled off the brooding, bad end Frank Castle in a pretty good way. It was violent, it was rough, but it wasn't as rough as Punisher Warzone. But it recently came out on a pretty cool, nifty little steelbook 4K edition, which I picked up. That's pretty bad end right there, is it not? Like I said, it's steelbook, meaning it's more like tin than steel. I don't know why they call it that, but pretty cool box art. You got Thomas Jane right there's the Punisher and the skull on the front. But same story. Wife, kid gets killed. His whole entire freaking family gets killed. His mom, his pops, his cousins, everybody. They're on like a family vacation down in the tropics, and it's more like a reunion, family reunion. And this mobster, which is played by the over-the-top John Travolta, who does a pretty decent job, is ticked off that Frank was responsible for one of his younger son's death in a undercover operation. And so old John Travolta sends his goons and mows everybody down. But in doing so, as the old saying goes, they woke a sleeping dog. And so, or a sleeping giant. I think it's a sleeping giant. Don't know. Either way, he was asleep, but now he's woke up and he's ready to do business. Anyway, really good movie. It's, like I said, super brutal, uber violent, you know, graphic in every sense of the way. But he pulls it off really well, Thomas Jane does. He was supposed to have got a sequel after this movie, but circumstances, I guess, I'm not sure what, kind of permitted him from being able to do so. And I do believe he did like a short little, you know, 30, 20-minute little deal he did afterwards. But anyway, pretty good. I definitely like it better than I do Punisher Warzone. Punisher Warzone feels almost like a horror movie than it does, you know, a comic book vigilante film. But, you know, this one was good. It was the first addition to the world of Frank Castle that we had seen on film. So, you know, it was my first experience with the character. Then it got to, you know, I got to researching it, and he's a really pretty cool comic book as well. You know, I kind of hope to see, we all hope to see Frank come back in either the MCU or something like that. You know, Daredevil's getting a revival series on Disney Plus, but I just don't know if they can bring, let me think about this. I don't know if they can bring in Frank Castle, the Punisher, and do the material justice on Disney Plus in the MCU. I mean, I get that Deadpool is getting brought in and they're gonna have to figure out a way to keep it R-rated, but yet still somehow connect it to the MCU. So if they can do it with Deadpool, they might can do it with the Punisher, and we might even get to see old John Bernthal come back and do the role. That would be really cool. But yeah, he's one of the cool ones. I like him, the Punisher. He's a great character. I'm hoping to see, like I said, see more of him later on, whether it be a film or a TV series or a revival series. But the 2004 Punisher movie was pretty good, and it's definitely worth checking out if you don't have a squeamish gut, okay? Because it is rough. That being said, it's obviously rated R, obviously. And so it's definitely not a superhero film you can watch with the kiddos. No sirree, Bob. But it is a cool watch if you're a true fan of like the old school action movies like Rambo and that sort of one man against a whole army type situation, strapped up with guns, loaded up to the T. If you like that kind of stuff, you'll dig the Punisher for sure. You know, he's like Marvel's version of Rambo, so that's pretty cool, right? So yeah, The Punisher, 2004. You can find it on Vudu, Apple, and Amazon to buy or rent. I don't know that it's streaming anywhere for free, and it really don't come on TV a whole lot because of its super violent nature. The series, The Punisher, is on Netflix. If you want to watch something that's Frank Castle Punisher related, it's on Netflix for free. You can dig that out. It's 2 seasons of really good stuff, really good action, and so yeah, The Punisher, cool character, man. I dig it. Super violent. It's got a lot of issues. Old Frank does lots. It's a cool character. Anyway, my opinions are like butts, right? Everybody's got one. Some of them stink, including mine and yours. Later.